What's good, party people? I am Alexi Farfaduget, and this is Pius Ina Lobo, better known as Voodoo Maximus, and we are Voodoo in the Wall. Yo, what's good, folks? This weekend we've got UFC Vegas 25. So Voodoo, man, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. I am looking forward to seeing the return of the Devastator, Dominator, Dominic Reyes, and also Cub Swanson. He's looking good lately. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Sean Strickland, the shit talking Sean Strickland is back in the house, and we're about to see a show. This card is shaping up to be something quite special. I like the matchups. Once again,
Yeah, well, something special is in the air. If you are a combat sports fan, Combate we're starting to see everybody coming back, right? Combate actually right tonight are holding a fight in Miami. We've got, LFA, back in session. Bellator is doing their thing. Obviously, PFL has started their season back. It's a crazy, crazy time to be alive, cool time to be you know, cool time to be a fucking MMA fan, and even crazier that William Morris Endeavor, right, the parent company of the UFC, they went public this week. So shit, I bought stock, bought about 5 shares or whatever, I
Yeah.
can actually say I'm a shareholder of both WWE and UFC, which I encourage any of the fighters at UFC Vegas 25. Hey, you get that $50,000 bonus, right? You want your voice to be heard? Take that $50,000, put that shit on the stock, buy the dip, right? And then you get your voice heard. You will sit at the pardon the Roman Reigns terminology, but you will sit at the head of the table, and they will actually have to give a shit about what you say.
Hey, I just realized since you bought some stocks, that means Dana White works for you.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it was rumored that this was going to happen. God, man, probably in the last couple of weeks, right? But it actually went through because they were saying, like, they wanted to buy out, William Morris Endeavor basically wanted to buy out their shareholders, basically that $4 billion what they paid for the UFC a good 4 or 5 years ago, right? That only allotted them 50%, 50% of the actual company, right? And essentially the other 50% of the stakeholders, one in a minority role would be Dana White. They basically had to buy them out, and that was kind of looming. I didn't know that it actually happened because all you see is, I think, on Wednesday, midway this week, Dana White posing in front of Wall Street with a big banner of WME and all of the subsidiaries at UFC. So man, big, big times, crazy times we're living in.
Yeah. Changes like these tend to have a variety of outcomes. I wonder how this change is going to affect combat sports itself. The combat sports in its essence. I wonder how this new thing is going to affect it. I hope nothing negative or negatively, but you'll never know, man. You'll never know. You'll never know. We'll see where this goes.
I know, just on a general premise of what happened with the WWE, right? Um, that went public, I guess, the late 90s, early 2000s, right? And within 20 years, the WWF that you love, it wasn't just a lawsuit with the World Wildlife Federation, but, it was just the content production, right? They have made the most money than they ever have, right? Through Manias and WWE Network and their millions of dollars, of rights fees with Fox for Friday Night SmackDown and with NBC Universal, right? With the NXT and Raw shows, but like the product has never been shittier. So get ready, folks. It's funny because right before we joined on, I was like, I saw an ad for mistreatment for ethnic gig workers like Uber and Lyft drivers and what have you, right? It's like, okay, cool story, bro. Because your shit, it won't matter what race you are, because the shit will be robots in 5, 10 years. The cars, obviously, through the union and all that, whatever. And I hate to say it, but as a former Uber and Lyft driver myself, but guess what? That Dusty Rhodes hard time promo, if like you work 30 years. 30 years, they kick you on the butt, give you a walk.
30 years.
Got it. We're here. That's what this is. So again, that future movie is real to you. Guess what? John Jones and everybody else that wants, better pay in UFC, they will get robots in about 15 years time.
And the crazy part is, it's not even a joke. There's a high probability that's what's going to happen. That's what's crazy about the whole thing. But hey, we will see what happens. We will remain in the current state of mind and enjoy tomorrow's matches. Let's check out this lineup, my brother. I cannot wait any longer. Let's go.
Yes. Can't stop, won't stop. And we will start the first fight of the night. We've got Luke Sanders, school hand Luke Sanders, 13-4, against Brazil's 9-2, Felipe Colares, right? Luke Sanders, he's cool hand Luke. There's a reason why we know this gentleman's name, right? But it's crazy because on the other side, the Brazilian is coming off of a loss to Montel Jackson, which doesn't seem like if that doesn't say MMA name generator, I don't know what does. Like Montel Jordan and Michael Jackson, you put them together, you get Montel Jackson, and you lose a unanimous decision. But obviously, he's kind of had like this up and down kind of tenure in the UFC. He's a jungle fight Brazilian, regional scene stalwart, but he makes his UFC debut in 2019 and loses a unanimous decision to another Brazilian in Geraldo de Freitas, right? Then wins later that year, July of 2019 at UFC Vegas UFC on ESPN 4, right? And he wins there. Then he loses to Montel Jackson. So this is his fourth run in the UFC. We'll see, and he's got a hell of a fucking guy in Luke Sanders to go up against. Because again, you don't get to 13-4 without it. Sanders actually coming off of a loss himself, against Nate Maness, and that happened. He got finished rear naked choke back in November of last year. But he beat former UFC champion Renan Barão, right? So, what say you?
Well, when you look at the record of Cool Hand Luke Sanders, it's quite easy to see that his weakest attribute is his jiu-jitsu defense. Felipe Corrales, most of his wins, most of his stoppage has been by submission. Others have been unanimous decisions. If Luke is unable to defend against the takedown, he's in trouble. But I have faith in Luke. His hands are so cool. Felipe is about to feel him. He's about to feel the chill. So me personally, I'm going with Luke Sanders to finish this one off with if not a knockout in the third, a dominating unanimous decision type victory for Luke Sanders.
I do have to agree 100%. just saying, just the level of competition that Luke has faced, whether a win or a loss occurred during those fights, that's top level competition, training with a top level team. Nothing against the Brazilian, Felipe Corrales, Colares, I'm sorry, Colares. But just there's levels to the shit, and it looks like even in a loss, right, that loss to Nate Maness, looks a little bit more notable than the loss that Colares had in his last UFC outing.
Most indeed, true statement. There are levels to this, and we're not all on the same level. It's a fact. So let's go, Cool Hand Luke.
Yes, no, 100%. Now, the next fight, we have Canada's own, the Bengal, Katie Bueller, right? And he will be facing on this night one Andreas Michaladis, right? And obviously, KB Bueller came in with a lot of hype and potential, basically, fighting on the regional scene of Canada as well as other places, right? And he comes to the UFC and he basically gets finished by Tom Breeze, right? In his UFC debut. That was his last fight back in October of 2020, right? Now he gets a second run at it. But let's look on the other side. The Grecian, Andreas Michaladis, right? He is somebody who is the Spartan, 12-4, right? He, his name reminded me of Michelada, right? Which is funny because his last loss, and it was actually his UFC debut, much like Bueller to Tom Breeze, was against Modestas Bukakas, or as I like to say, Modelo Bukaki.
So, what do you think is the outcome of this particular matchup? Is it the Canadian or Mr. Bukaki? Or should I say the Spaniard, the Spartan?
Do say it. And didn't one the Micheladis, didn't he retire? I thought he retired.
Yeah. I think he quit is what it seems like.
Okay.
Like he quit during the match, like the first round.
Wow. And I can't believe he's coming back, and it's crazy because, if he's coming back, when I first saw on Tapology retirement, I was like, this motherfucker is the Terry Funk of MMA, right? Like, I'm retiring. That motherfucker, much like Kiss, is on his 89th retirement tour, and he's like 89. He want to rock and roll all night, damn it.
Hey, Terry Funk is one of the sickest individuals I ever saw on TV, man. He's a special dude. And by the way, I can't believe Sabu is still in the game, man. Sabu, he looks old as hell, but he's still in the game, man. Crazy.
There was something, KB Bueller in that fight, he kind of reminded me of, it's on all of those MMA compilations of like the shit talking goes wrong, and that dude like somewhere in like Eastern European whatever, and there's this like swing on the cage and basically has an entourage, and it's like don't let this his opponent and everything like that, and within like 5 fucking seconds it gets KO'd beyond recognition. That's what KB Bueller was reminding me of. I don't know why. But Tom Brady did the same thing as he did to that. I mean, as a European guy got done to him. So
this Bengal fella, he's interesting to me. I believe I've seen him fight before. He's got good skills. He's very smooth in his transition. He connects. He puts together his MMA package quite well. So his opponent. I don't know if I can go with someone who's coming back from retiring, man. Like, once you retire, man, once you have that in your mind, he's gonna have to come in. I have to treat him like someone brand new. He's gonna have to come in and prove that he actually wants to be here. You know, it's one thing to sign that contract, but it's another thing to actually want to be in that cage, locked in there with another fella that's trying to kill you. So I will be betting my money on Mr. Bueller for this particular matchup. It doesn't matter to me how he wins, but I believe he is going to win.
I agree. I like it. I like it. You know, I like it. So we've got consensus pick KB Bueller, second one in a row. Basically besting Andreas Micheladas, which you spoke of the complete package, not the total package. We're not talking Lex Luger circa 1997. Oh no. We're talking about the complete. Yes, that's torture rack, everyone.
Yeah,
dude, I used to. I talking about fight styles and whatever. I fought style in Inglewood. I literally pro wrestling, right? I would need to be on one hand Mick Foley, and if I could lift them, I'd be Lex Luger and torture rack the shit out of them. Just saying. I solos, like, oh, whatever, gangsters, and I would just like, whatever, and just like pick them up, and it was the weirdest thing. They'd squirm, and I would just like go like this, like a damn moose trying to get it over. I don't know where that analogy went, but I just went like that, and I would fucking just jump up and down.
Hey, good times, man. Good times. Inglewood was the best city there is, man. Still is, actually. Shout out to Inglewood.
Shout out to Inglewood. Hell yes. But few people that are not from Inglewood, but might be complete packages. We've got Sam Page Hughes, LFA veteran, 5-2, and she's going up against Luma Lukbonmi. Rich, man, this is a really fun fight. I think this might actually be one of the fights of the night. They're evenly matched. Now, Sam Hughes, it's kind of a weird one, right? Because she basically was on the undercard of Little Monster Vanessa Demopoulos' showing and win back at LFA before the pandemic, right?
That's
and
right.
He was on the undercard. They faced, right? They faced off, and I can't remember. I want to say that Little Monster might have beat Sam Hughes, right? And then Vanessa basically goes, no, that was the title fight. I'm sorry.
Right.
The title fight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember Sam Hughes. Did she go to sleep?
Yeah.
Did she go to sleep? Triangle?
Right.
Yeah, inverted triangle choke. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's that, right? And then Vanessa Demopoulos basically goes up against what is it? Lupi Godinez, who just debuted for the UFC last week or 2 weeks ago, right? But that was for the LFA title. So
what a war that was! What a war that was! Remember that? Thermopolis versus Lupita. What a war, man!
Where she literally powerbombed the gal from San Diego. So it's crazy because Sam Hughes is the one that before Lupi as well as Little Monster Demopoulos, she was the first one out of that kind of triangle of LFA, strawweight that didn't get the championship but got the call first, but has gone 0-2 in this. So actually, yeah. No, it just won. She lost to Tisha Torres. I forgot. Right. And that fight got sucked by the eye injury, that occurred to you, right? Now Lima is kind of fun to do because she was highly touted. I think we picked her in the win with how do you say Angela Hill, right?
Yes.
And then she lost to Angela Hill, right? Which Angela Hill is just improving, but has a win over former Invicta champion, Jin Yun Frey, right? Which is a big fucking win because I know I picked Jin Yun Frey to win that one. Luma showed a lot. Both of these patents are in a similar place in their career where they've had highs and lows in 5-2. Very identical record. So, what say you?
Sam Hughes is a scrapper. I love her. She's a complete fighter, by the way. You know, just working her way up. Still young in the game. You know, still building experience, right? But Loma has been she's been in kickboxing for quite some time. She grew up being not kickboxing, Muay Thai. She grew up being a Muay Thai artist, so she's been in there many times. I'm sure she's had more combat experience than Sam Hughes. The only thing that she needs to add to her game now will be the takedown defense. Her ground game is improving little by little, as we saw when she went up against Jin Yu. Very good takedown defense against Jin Yu, and she was able to piece her up real good. But Sam Hughes, I don't know if Sam has what it takes to face Loma. You know, Sam is a complete fighter, but I do not think her striking experience is on the same level as Loma. Loma is a dangerous human being. Her loss to Angela Hill, though it was unanimous, she was hanging in there. Especially being brand new to mixed martial arts, she hangs in there even in losses. So I'm gonna go with Loma because every day she gets better. Every fight she improves. I'm gonna go with Loma to outstrike her opponent in this particular matchup.
I like it. I just, on general premise, I'm gonna go with Sam Page. I really feel like he needs a win to impress. Like Loma will be okay.
Yeah.
Loma with a loss, she'll get another shot. You know, especially over over Jin Yun Frey, right? And Victor Champion and what have you. That's a big name. You know, when Jin Yun Frey into the UFC, a lot of people were like, yes, this is what we need, right? So with that being said, I think just on general premise, Sam Hughes needs this a little bit more. Otherwise, he might be unceremoniously, removed from the UFC. So I'm going to go on general premise. And again, with all of that, like I would love to see Luffy, Little Monster, and Sam Hughes all face each other in the UFC. So for that to happen, we all need to be in the UFC, right? So Little Monster just had her first knockout, in her return after losing the championship to Luffy Godinez. Luffy Godinez, again, looked amazing against Jessica Bene, right? And so Sam Hughes, to make this whole kind of trilogy happen, she needs to still be here. So I'm going to put her for the win. I'm going to say split decision.
Yeah. This one's going to be, it's going to be entertaining. I'll tell you that. I'll even go as far as to say my first candidate for fight of the night. 100%. These two are going to go at it. Yeah, they're going to go at it, and it's going to be exciting. So if Sam Hughes wins, I will be very happy because, like you said, Thermopolis is the missing piece from this class of fighters, missing piece in the UFC. And within time, I'm sure she'll be there pretty soon because she's a tough one. She's a tough one, and she's deserving. It's her time. It's her time to be in the UFC. She'll be back very soon. She'll be back. She just got to stay ready. When they call, she wants to be ready to take that short notice. That short notice is gonna be her way back. I see it. I've seen it. Voodoo has seen it. So I look forward to this particular matchup, but we'll see what happens. I like the 50-50 split too on this particular one. They both deserve it.
No, 1,000%. So, again, this is our concern. Even though we are on the opposite ends of who we think is winning, this we are absolutely picking as one of the $50,000 candidates for fight of the night. 100%. It's going to be amazing. Now, This one, funny enough, right? The Fighting Hawaiian, Kai Kamaka, right? The third, right? This is somebody that you and I got to see, right? Back
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
King of the Cage here in
Yeah.
Ontario, California, the
Mhm.
King of the Cage Energetic Pursuit. And it's crazy because Kai Kamaka, in terms of earning his place on the UFC roster, literally fought everywhere. We're
Mhm.
talking Hawaiian Regional C. We're talking King of the Cage. We're
Mhm.
talking LFA and Bellator. He is a tenured young vet, right?
Mhm.
But so to it, he will be facing another like tenured young vet in TJ Brown, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
TJ Brown, downtown TJ Brown, as they call him. He calls
Mhm.
himself that, right? He is one. Wait, really quick. Do you remember who Kai Kamaka on that paper night back in 2018 at King of the Cage Energetic Pursuit? Do you know who he faced?
2018. I forget.
Rick James, bitch.
That's right. I remember. Hey, once you said that, and all came rushing back because that was a joke. We were all joking in the at the seating arrangement. We were all cracking up saying that Rick James bitch comment. That's right. I remember now.
Yep, absolutely. With every fight, the King of the Cage, but with every fight, I felt like I was in one of those like the 1990s infomercials about the salad shooters, right? Where you put the damn salad components, the lettuce and everything in this like shooter, and it shot you a fucking salad in the plate or whatever. Well, the,
Uh-huh.
the, the theme music for all of the fights at King of the Cage, it's generic, and it reminds
Really?
me of being inside of one of those theoretically salad shooters. So he had Kai Kamaka 8-3, right? And he will be facing downtown TJ Brown.
Mhm.
Downtown TJ Brown 14-8. God, a true veteran, somebody that helps the lineage of Glory MMA with James Krause and
Mhm.
Zach Cummings, because I
Mhm.
know
Mhm.
I don't bet Don McGuire will kick my ass. So
Yeah.
just say, uh, yeah. So here he is. He is 0-2 in the UFC, right? He unfortunately lost his promotional debut to Jordan Griffin and Danny Chavez,
Mhm.
respectively, back in 2020. But
Mhm.
he had an arm triangle choke at the Dana White's Contender Series in 2019. LFA
Mhm.
veteran,
Mhm.
again, a tenured young vet in the game.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
what say you?
Well, this is your classic striker versus grappler. When you look at Mr. Downtown's record, lots of strangulations. He likes to strangle folks. You know, arm triangle, arm triangle, rear naked choke. He likes to take the air from you. He likes to make it. He likes to make fools go rather quickly. Air chokes, blood chokes. There's a certain sinister style to the way he fights. He likes to put your lights out. He wants the lights to go to dim rather slowly. So he's a dangerous individual. Dangerous individual. Now, Kai Kamaka, very good striker, very good striker. But I, yeah, I'm just not sold on his wrestling defense to ward off Mr. Downtown. I do not think it's gonna be adequate. Unfortunately for Mr. Kamaka, I think Mr. Brown, if he doesn't get knocked out, will strangle this young man in the second round quite easily. Perhaps more than likely the rear naked choke actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, and I hate picking against an Islander, but the fight in Hawaii, and especially someone you and I both were there at the then Citizens Bank Arena, now
Yes,
Toyota Center in Ontario, California. You
yes.
know, there's a lot of lineage there, but I just think that. TJ Brown also, he's going to finish him in probably the second round. Either KO, because he's got, TJ Brown's got
He's
some
got
like
some bombs too.
KOs in here. He's got some, arm triangle chokes. And yeah, it's Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, Shaman Steve.
It's going to be a tough match.
Good evening, Shaman Steve. Always a pleasure to have you. 100%. 100%. Love that guy. Now,
that's right.
The next matchup, we have Gabriel Benitez, 22-8. Holy hell, that's a whole lot of fighting, right? Of Mexico. And Gabriel Benitez is Mowgli, almost like the Lion King. Or not Lion King, Jumanji, Jungle Book. There you go.
Yeah, Jungle Book.
He's all fucked up. But anywho, he will be facing the 10-4 JSP, not GSP, JSP, Jonathan Pierce. Now, for those who don't know much about Jonathan Pierce, he actually has a win over Kai Kamaka III. We just talked about him and picked him to lose. Unfortunately, yeah, he lost. I mean, he has a win over Kai Kamaka, but lost to Joe Lozon. He is the one who fought Jacob Rosales, the Badger, Little Badger, right?
Yeah.
White's Contender Series, and literally Jacob Rosales broke his. I want to say there was something, either his hand or his leg, something like that, and still fought. I want to say it was his hand, because obviously what we saw with Chris Weidman, you fuck up you break your foot or your leg, you just don't do it. So I want to say he broke his arm or his hand in the very first round and still continued up until the third round. So that just tells you how tough Jacob Rosales is. But
straight savage.
Yeah, so there's that. And then Gabriel Benitez, with all of the fucking fights that this guy had, literally 30 fights as he steps into the cage on Saturday, he basically just beat Justin James with a knee to the body. Yes, I remember this, right? That was the last card of 2020 where he fucking kneed Justin James to the body, and like Justin James, all of his shit just like it stopped. He got frozen. He got fucked up. Just that knee to the body just shut everything down. God, this is a good fight. This is another fight of the night contender. Good God. I want to hear what you say.
You called it, man. You called it.
Not too sure.
You called it. This one's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a banger. I agree with you with your assessment of a possible fight of the night candidate. Very, very true. Very, very true. These two are gonna go in there and they're gonna slug it out. When the slugging gets tough, then you'll see intense grappling. You know what I mean? But ultimately, most of this fight is gonna be on the feet, and somebody's gonna bleed. Somebody's gonna bleed, and something is gonna break. These two are alpha males, and they're in there, locked in that cage, man. And we're about to get a show. This particular one is gonna be a show. Trust me. Trust me. Unfortunately, someone has to win this one, man. Someone has to win this one. I wouldn't mind going 50-50 with you on this one, man. So I'll take Jonathan Pearson. Or Pierce. I'll take Pierce.
I like it. I'm gonna go with Benitez just on general promise. But one thing that's not gonna happen, I will be super fucking surprised, if this goes to a decision. Because
I don't think so either.
These two, like the people like, I don't like fights. They just like, they flail around or whatever. No, you're not gonna see that. You're gonna see somebody get finished. They're gonna want to kill each other. These two. You're not gonna. This is not Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena shit. This is not. No, these two are going to. They're gonna try and beat the brakes off of each other. It's just who's gonna basically whose chin, whose will, whose whatever is going to get tested first. That's all this is.
It's going down. It's going down. Somebody's gonna get knocked the F out, and that's real.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's much like, man, I'm going to age myself, but the Executioners back in the mid-2000s had the song "It's Going Down for the World to See." what is it? Mike Shinoda and the X-Men are the place to be, something like that, something to that effect.
Mhm.
But that's exactly
Mhm.
what's going to happen there. No, Mike Shinoda isn't going to play these two to the ring of Linkin Park fame. No, no, no. But again, it's going fucking down. So there you go. I love it. I love it. And again, this and the Sam Hughes Luma Lukenby, that these two, I think out of all of the fights, and nothing against
Mhm.
everything else on this card, but these are the ones to beat. These are the ones to beat
Mhm.
for sure.
Mhm. Mhm. Agreed. Agreed.
So, good God, we have former Ultimate Fighter castmate
Yeah.
Randa Marcos, who's literally 50-50, right? The
Mhm.
only thing that's separating it is that one kind of draw that she had early in her career, but
Mhm.
10
Mhm.
and 10, 21 fights. Yeah, I mean, this is like the Motorhead, Ace of Spades. You
Mhm.
win some, you
Mhm.
lose some. It's all the same to me. That's this,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, and she basically is coming in off of unfortunately, a loss, right? She's
Mhm.
lost the last three. She hasn't
Mhm.
won since she faced Ashley Yoder, Spider Monkey
Mhm.
Yoder, back in 2019 on UFC on ESPN Plus 20. But since then, she has lost to Amanda Hebas, Mackenzie Dern, and Kanako Murata, right?
Mhm.
But has wins
Mhm.
over Angela Hill, lost to Claudia
Mhm.
Gadelia,
Mhm.
lost to Nina Nunes. Good
Mhm.
God, lost to Alessa Grasso, beat Carla Esparza, lost to Courtney Casey.
Mhm.
Here's the one that you guys probably don't remember: a win over Asling Daly, who again
Mhm.
before Meatball Molly McCann, Asling
Mhm.
Daly for that Scottish contingent of women fighters. She was carrying the
Mhm.
mantle. She was also on the UFC Ultimate Fighter, right?
Yeah.
So there is that, right? So
Yeah.
uh, on the other side, we have the Brazilian Luana Pinheiro, right?
Mhm.
Luana is basically 8-1, nearly flawless in terms of her record. Uh,
Mhm.
Good God, what what uh, what the Brazilian has is a win over Stephanie Fausto, uh, Combate Americas, or now Combate Global veteran, right? She basically KO'd her in the very first round
Mhm.
of the Dana White Contender Series,
Yeah.
has wins in Brave, all of that jazz, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm not picking nothing against Randa Marcos. Incredible story of how she came to Canada
Mhm.
from Iran.
Mhm.
Incredible story. But unfortunately, that story is going to end. Her UFC tenure is going to end by the young Brazilian. Um, don't know how it's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's a bittersweet. You know, Randa Marcos. I remember when she was on Ultimate Fighter. She was a straight arrow. You know, she's only there for business. She does her work. She works hard. She does her thing. Unfortunately, she's not blessed with natural abilities, natural talent. Everything she has, she's had to work for, and we appreciate that about her. Uh, she's a complete fighter, but she lacks a lot of power, a lot of strength. She wins a lot by with technique, not because she can overpower her opponent. But when we look at the other side, we have Luana, and Luana is a straight killer. A couple of first round knockouts, multiple submission victories. Randa Marcos is going to be bringing a submission game to the table. She'll strike enough to get a hold of her opponent and then try and take her to the ground and control on the ground and grapple. I do not believe Luana is going to allow that to happen. Luana is younger, and she's bringing a ferocious striking game. I remember her in the Contender Series. Quick hand speed. She puts it all together really, really well as a striker. Randa Marcos, she's gonna get pieced up. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if she's finished by the second round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems about right. Because again, Iranian of birth and descent, she's going to be pretty hard to put away. Especially, I know coming off of 3 losses. Now, obviously, those 3 losses are to top level, competition. But I know she
Mm-hmm.
knows this, right? So she's not going to go quietly into the night, not at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say that first round, it's going to be kind of testing out, whatever. But by the second, Ioana is going to figure her out, and it will be bye bye to Randa Marcos.
Unfortunately, man. Shout out to Ronda. Good luck to you. I would like to see you win, but I just think it's a tough matchup. Tough matchup, and this could be 4 in a row, and see you later. So if it's see you later,
Yeah.
I wish you all the best.
Now, in terms of we kind of began with like the UFC basically becoming the parent company becoming a publicly traded company. Well,
Hmm.
Randa Marcos, you are my first contender of you should take your fight winnings and buy the damn stock.
Hmm.
That's what I'm going to say to you, right? Is whatever 10, 20, $30,000. Take a portion of that, just dump it there, and again, you will have the power. This is, this could be a game changer for fighters and what have you. So again, I hope I'm wrong. Luana has a lot more to kind of gain from this, right?
Yep.
But let's say Ronda doesn't lose, right? What if she fucking guts it out and whatever,
Hmm.
wins $50,000 and takes all 50,000 and just plunkers it down because she's coming in one of the high end contracts in terms of fight pay and fight bonuses, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
almost
She's been there for a
almost
while.
all of it, yeah, almost all of the 10 fights that she's won has come in the UFC, right? Like
Hmm. Hmm.
majority of them have, right? So with that being said, she's coming in at the high end of what that is, right? So I say, take whatever you can and bunker down some, hell, even if it's 2 grand, bunker that down. It's 2,000 American, but I don't know how that translates to Canadian dollars, but bunker that down and you can thank me in like 2 years from now.
Hey,
Just
not
saying.
bad advice if you ask me.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Now we have a battle of the Brazilians, right? Because we have Poliana Botelho, 8-3, ranked number 62, uh, women's flyweight in the world, and she is going up against the 6-2 Luana Carolina. And Luana Carolina is basically nicknamed Dread, and she has dreads. I think that's fun. I think that's absolutely fun, right? But Luana, let's go with her first. She is coming off of a loss to Ariana Lipsky, and that happened over a knee bar back in 2020, July of 2020. But she has wins over Priscilla Cachoeira. Um, she she basically beat Maybelline Lima back at Dana White's Contender Series back in 2018, right? But a native of the Brazilian regional circuit. On the other side, we have Poliana Botelho, and Poliana is coming off of a loss to Julian Robertson.
Hmm.
Um, the unanimous decision loss, but has
Hmm.
went over Lauren Mueller back at UFC 236, Holloway and Dustin Poirier 2. Lost to Cynthia Calvillo. Uh, Suri, Suri Kondo basically beat, and she basically took Pearl Gonzalez out of the UFC,
Hmm.
right? That's why I remember Poliana, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Nothing against her opponent on the night, the Brazilian on the other side, but I just remember Poliana. So I'm going to go with Poliana Botelho. Going to say maybe third round submission.
Hmm. I like your pick in Poliana. Both fighters are terrible grapplers. They have very, very weak grappling games. Luana, the Dread lady, I remember when she she was put in a standing, upright, a vertical knee bar. You hardly don't see that because people don't fall for something such blatant. I mean, just a vertical knee bar, man. Most knee bars occur on the ground, right? For someone to have and take your leg because you're trying to do some kind of knee slicer or calf slicer or whatever, and then reverse it. First of all, it seems she's ahead of herself. You're not. You're using technique that you haven't been given permission to use. Is what I see in Luana. She's all right, but her striking game seems passive to me. I'm not sold on her yet, but Paulina, she has a certain aggression that I'm willing to invest in. So I'm gonna go with Paulina as well to finish in the third. She'll finish in the third. I don't see submission because her skills are lacking, but she might land a certain shot or a certain kick. So I see her winning by stoppage in the third round of some sort, some kind of TKO type win.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. So that's a consensus pick. We've got Poliana Botelho for the win. Now, we had a battle of the Brazilians in that last fight. Well, we have a battle of people who actually, crazy enough, beat our friend Barry on Flashback because we have Merab Devonishvili. That's what I'm going with. Fucking, probably not right. That's what I'm going on. There's too many eyes in there, so I'm gonna go with that. Because otherwise, this is a good way of promoting the 4 name pronunciation classes by Voodoo Maximus for one easy payment of $99.99 or 4 easy payments of $499.99. You will not fucking have that verbal, like, literally deprecation of the pronunciation of the machine Marab. That's what I'm going to call it. The machine Marab, right? You can pronounce it with such eloquency as the scholar that is Voodoo Maximus. Again, 4 name pronunciation by Voodoo, 1 easy payment of $999.99 or 4 easy payments of $499.99, and you will be able to pronounce the machine's name. And what is the last name of the machine, sir?
I'll give it a try. Dvalishvili. He's Russian. He's a Russian fellow, or what is he? Where is he from? He's from Georgia. Is he from Georgia? Yeah, he's from Georgia. Yeah. Dvalishvili.
No. He's from the country.
Hey, that's a tough last name, man. Look at all those eyes, man. Valisville. That's why that's what I'm going with. Valisville.
Okay. I figured it out. That it is the machine Marab Millie.
Right.
10 points. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, my love. With the fucking, like that.
Yeah.
The fucking, jumping up and high-fiving. Because obviously that doesn't age well with COVID, but I'm just saying, right? Now, on the other side of the coach, we have the Spartan, the former Starman, but now he's the Spartan, Cody Stamen. And he's coming off of a loss with Jimmy Rivera, right? But he beat Brian Kelleher, unanimous decision. Basically beat Alejandro Perez, unanimous decision as well. Lost to the current UFC champion, Aljamain Sterling. I might have threw it up in my mouth when I said that. And then, beat Brian Caraway, Tom Duquesnoy, Zach Church, and again, our friend there on Flash Whip. So I am going with the Georgian. I think Marab, because Cody Stamen, for all that he's awesome, right? He is not a finisher. He's a unanimous decision, right? You know, basically at Ring of Combat, he Marab finishes none other than current day Bellator notable Rafion Superstars, right? And he basically KO'd Rafion with a spinning back fist in the first 15 seconds of the very first round, right? He beat Tony Gravely, right? Who's in the UFC now, and he beat him by unanimous decision back in 2016. Now, obviously, you know, obviously, you know, those, you know, finishing between both men and RBC, but Marab just has a lot more of them, right? And I think the will also that goes with it. So I'm picking Marab, the Machine, Milli Vanilli for the win. Unanimous.
Mirab for me too, man. Mirab for me too. Here's my my reason for picking Mirab. Cody Stamen, very good wrestler, former champion. Can we call him a complete fighter? Yeah, we can call him a complete fighter. Let's go ahead and call him a complete fighter, okay? A young, complete fighter. Now, the asterisk here is the fact that he's going from featherweight to bantamweight. If you know Cody Stamen, you know he's a big fella. Now he's going to be cutting an additional 10 pounds. That's going to affect his performance. It's going to affect his performance. Mirab, he's got excellent wrestling as well, right? So Cody is going to come in there and try to put that extra large body on him. I don't believe this is going to make a difference. Mirab is used to this. He's from Georgia. This is what he does. You know what I mean? This is his bread and butter. They both have the same bread and butter, but I'm guessing Mirab has the advantage because of the style of wrestling that he's bringing to the table, that Khabib-like type wrestling, that scramble. You know what I mean? He's gonna be ahead of the game when it comes to scramble. His speed will be much faster than Cody's because of the size advantage that Kobe's bringing in. So Mirab will be faster. Mirab, I believe, has crisper, more precise striking compared to his opponent. So Mirab is going to be winning this one. He's going to outclass Cody. I believe Cody is desperate in his attempt to go down to bantamweight. I believe he's become desperate to get wins. And I think it's a mistake. I think he was better off where he was at. And he's going to pay for it. He's going to pay for it when he faces Mirab come Saturday. So Mirab is going to win this one by unanimous decision victory.
Just saying. No, I like it. Yeah. So that's it. Again, nothing against Cody Stamen. I just think just mindset, everything, you know, it could be a complete fighter. And there's other complete fighters that might fight to a higher echelon than you do, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. That's a consensus pick. We're going with Marab the Machine. So there we go. Now this one, somebody's gonna get knocked the fuck out because we have Tarzan, Sean Strickland, 22-3, right? Picked up right where he left off, right? He'd probably been better than when he left off when he had that unfortunate motorcycle accident that curtailed like 2 years, took 2 years off of his career. Came back in a big way. And like I said, I think he might even have come back better than before. Tarzan Sean Strickland is a Team Quest guy, so he's local. So he got wins over, you know, Nordin Taleb. That was the fight right before, obviously, the fight before the motorcycle accident, right? Nordin Taleb, right? That was second round, ground and pound, right? Comes back 2 years later, beats John Marshman, unanimous decision win, and then KOs Allen, Allen, in the very second round in about 92 seconds of the second round, right? So on the other side of it, we've got Polish power Krzysztof Jotko,
Mm-hmm.
22-4. These two are pretty evenly ranked, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Krzysztof Jotko is coming off a win, a unanimous decision over Eric Anders.
Mm-hmm.
Also beat Mark Andre Barrial by split decision, and Alan Amedovsky with a unanimous decision win. But before that, he was riding a 3-fight losing streak, losing to the former World Series of Fight champion and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt David Branch,
Mm-hmm.
Uriah Hall.
Mm-hmm.
He got KO'd by Uriah Hall, and Brad Savara he got KO'd as well. But has wins over. Talk about like names that you don't hear. We're talking about Brad Scott, Scott Askham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tandem McCory, and Thales Leptis. Man, I haven't heard those names in quite a while. Almost like UFC on Fox days, man. That's crazy. But here we go. What say you? Tarzan versus Krzysztof Jotko. I think somebody's going to get KO'd for sure.
Yeah. This particular match is going to be an exciting one. Even if it's a boring match, Sean Strickland is going to make sure it's exciting because what he brings to the table is in line with the Conor McGregor type. How do you say? Type production. He's very vocal when he's fighting. I love that. I love the fact that he's vocal. He's entertaining. The man understands his job. After going away from that injury, that motorcycle accident, and then making his return, I'm guessing that while he was in that hospital bed, with the potential of never ever making it back into the octagon, he realized what he had, and he realized that he's got to do better. And you've seen that in his last 3 fights. His last 3 fights, he's dominated. He's being the guy, right? He understands that right now I need to go out there and I need to let people know who I am. And he's using his voice. His mic skills are excellent. He's trying to build that platform so he can get that opportunity, that payday that's going to open up the door for something else in his life. So I'm also going with Sean Strickland in this particular matchup. Jotko is a young fellow. They're about the same age. Whatever. Jotko, sorry. I'm picking Strickland, man. No matter what, I'm picking Strickland to win this one by split decision.
Same. Sean Strickland. Tarzan is going to run roughshod over the Polish one. Again, there's going to be a lot of blood spill. It's going to be a lot of brain cells lost. So let us pray for the brain cells that will be lost in this fight. All right, there you go. 100%. So this one is going to be a performance bonus. I hope, because again, they might be drinking through a straw after.
Hey, not far from reality, my friend. Not far from reality.
Nope, 100%. Now back to life, back to reality. We have the 15-6 Ian Cutelaba against a 14-5 Justin Jacoby. Now, in the Hulk Cutelaba, right? Because that's a name that hasn't been done before, right? Right, the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just it makes me sad when I hear the Hulks and the monsters and the whatever. It's like those have all been the beasts. Those have all been done. I think of something different, sir. Just saying. Makes me mad. Makes me mad. But in Cutelaba, he's 15-6, coming off of a loss to Magomed Ankalaev, right? He lost twice, 2 straight ones to Magomed Ankalaev. That happened both in February of 2020, right? I believe that was Fight Island. No, it wasn't Fight Island. This is before the pandemic, right? So it happened somewhere. Can't remember where. Right? That was UFC on ESPN 27.
I think it started before the pandemic and then ended during the pandemic, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was the first Davidson Figueiredo, Joseph Benavidez fight where
Yeah.
Figueiredo
Yeah.
this weight, and it was a one-way title switch, and Figueiredo still won, but he got the title. And set up the Fight Island matchup, which Figueiredo won, right? But the second one, yeah, it did happen in Fight Island. I do remember one of the fights, right? The second loss to Magomed Ankalaev happened on the undercard of the Khabib Nurmagomedov Justin Gaethje title unification bout that essentially signaled the retirement of one Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So, Jesus Louises. On the other side, we've got Dustin Jacoby, 14-5. He's the Hanyak, which I just talked about, like having a actual an original fight moniker name, right? Not the Hulk, not the whatever. But I don't know what the hell the Hanyak is. What the hell is that? But,
I don't know.
But he is winning. All he does is win because he's a veteran of Glory Kickboxing, has beaten such names as Ariel Sepulveda, Mean Casey Green, Carl Robertson. I mean, he was on a 5-fight win streak in Glory, and then lost here in LA at Glory 30 to Simon Marcus. Loses twice to Simon Marcus. First one, unanimous decision. They run it back in 2016, later that year, like 5 months later. And then, unfortunately, he gets a unfortunate eye injury at Glory 34 in Denver, right? But then comes back, beats Sean Choice, then basically does SCL 74. That's an MMA fight. Then he does a boxing fight against Terrence Hodges, wins that, right? And then basically does that kickboxing match against Tony Kryptonite Lopez, right? And that was a punches TKO, right, at SCL 74. Then goes to Dana White's contender series. Gets a unanimous decision over Ty Flores. Then basically leg kicks the shit out of Justin Lede in the very first round back in it was October. And then Maxim Grishin beats by unanimous decision in February of this year. So I think I am going with the Hanyak, Justin Jacoby.
Yes. That's not a bad pick at all, man. Not a bad pick because what we have in Ian Kutelaba is someone who uses intimidation tactics to overwhelm his opponent. He's a Roman Greco wrestler who happens to have powerful hands. He can knock you out with either hand. He is able to throw kicks, but is he a complete striker? No, he is not. Is he a complete fighter? No, he is not. Dustin Jacoby, is he a complete fighter? No, he is not. Is he a complete striker? I believe he is. He's got way more striking experience than Ian Kutelaba, and the only thing that he's going to have to worry about is that takedown defense. Ian Kutelaba is not a stupid man. He will go in there with the intent to take Justin Jacoby down to the ground and control him on the ground, hopefully grounding and pounding him to oblivion. But if Justin Jacoby can stay on his feet, break that clinch, get back to the center of the octagon and piece him up, Justin Jacoby can win this one by split decision. So I think the odds of Justin Jacoby getting that split decision are a lot higher than Kutelaba grounding and pounding Justin Jacoby. So I will also go with Dustin Jacoby, to win this particular one. Split decision victory.
Yeah. That's a consensus pick for sure. Now we are at the co-main event of the evening. We have Killer Cub Swanson, 27-11, longtime veteran of the MMA fight game, and he is going up against Giga Chikadze. Giga the Ninja Chikadze, 12-2 record. Obviously Chikadze is coming off of a God. He hasn't lost he's undefeated in the UFC for sure, but he hasn't won. I mean, he hasn't lost since 2018, where he fought and lost to Austin Springer at Dana White's Contender Series back in 2018, June of 2018.
Yep.
But wins in Gladiator Challenge, wins. Yeah, he basically fights at Gladiator Challenge right up until he gets to the UFC and has been undefeated. Beat Brandon Davis by a split decision. Beat Jamal Emmers by split decision, and then beat Aaron Rivera by unanimous decision. Omar Morales, unanimous decision, and that Jamie Simmons was a head kick KO. That happened in November of last year. So he is fighting Killer Cub Swanson. Guess what? I'm going to be salty as fuck. Love you, Cub, but you said some dumb shit on Twitter, right? Like talking about, I literally felt attacked, right? Oh, everybody that is a reporter should have to, fight in the cage. Well, guess what? Spencer Lazara fucking did it, and he KO'd a motherfucker at Tough Enough. So I'm gonna put Spencer Lazara there as somebody who did. But again, you say that your wife, right, is somebody who gets paid for the UFC from the UFC, right? Hasn't fought. She was a former ring card girl, and become Kenda Perez, now Kenda Swanson, right? She's never fought. You know that. She's your wife, the mother of your kids, right? Half of your income comes from her, and it's coming from the same company in UFC. She hasn't fought. What the fuck are you talking about, Tom? So again, I want Jigga just to fucking take his head off. Just saying. That was some dumb shit, Cub.
Yeah. Well,
Voodoo. Voodoo talked about the shit. You won a championship.
Say it
just
again.
Saying.
What? One more time. Say it again.
You talked about the shit and you fought. So what?
Hey. Unfortunately for Cub, he's in the cage on Saturday against Giga. Giga of what's that maestro's name? Not Black House. What's that? The guy that taught Vandalay Silva and those guys? What's his name?
Vanilla Gorilla. I know.
I can't. The name slips my mind.
He just fought recently.
Yeah.
But he probably said some dumb shit too.
Giga is well equipped when it comes to striking. Kings MMA was the name that I was looking for. Giga is well equipped when it comes to striking, and so is his opponent. But unfortunately for his opponent, Cub Swanson, Giga is coming in there with the speed advantage. He's coming in there with the height advantage. It's gonna be a tough matchup, man. It's gonna be a tough matchup. Getting that takedown, because that's what it's gonna have to take. If Cub Swanson is to win this match, he needs to control the clinch and take his opponent to the ground. But I do not believe he's going to be able to. Cub Swanson, he's the type of fella that enjoys to stand and see where the chips lie, where the chips fall. Unfortunately for him, his opponent is the same kind of guy, understands dynamic striking a lot better than Cub Swanson. So I believe his opponent will be able to control the striking game. He will be able to win this particular one by split decision. He might even get a knockout win, but at the least, I see Giga. She cuts it with the split decision victory over Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson is a long-time veteran, and we appreciate his talent and what he's contributed to the sport. But unfortunately, the young is rising, and he's seeking that number 15 spot, and I think he's going to get it.
I agree. So listen, Cub, said some dumb shit. This is where you're gonna get your clap back. That shit. Dumb, say some dumb shit, and you're gonna get your clap back. You know, it's just good God. Just oh God, Cub. I loved you too, man. Really did. I haven't had any bad interaction with Cub Swanson. You know, the times that I've been around him, always awesome. But he fucking said some dumb shit, and I know some. That's why I never call myself a what is it? What is like a media person or a specialist or whatever the fuck. I'm an interviewing podcaster. Like that's it. Because I don't have the fucking insight to just say shit. So I might be playing into your fucking thing, but again, your wife, dude, your wife. What the fuck? Oh God, man.
Yeah,
Swear.
yeah. So sometimes when these fighters under stress or heightened level of stress, uh, things come out. You know, things come out that they wouldn't normally say if they weren't so stressed. So uh, uh, I'm really not knowing what his state of mind was at that moment, but it was a strange comment to make. You know, if he thought deeply about it, perhaps he wouldn't have made it. But I see your point.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. I like it. We can do it now. We are at the main event of the evening. We have none other than former UFC title contender, the Devastator Dominic Reyes against Giri Prochak.
Yeah.
That's what I got. God, there's a lot of. There we go. There we go. Now Giri comes in 12-2, right? 12-2. And he is a veteran of the Risen promotion where he's had championship goals, right? Now I love it because it looks like he's repping like the Filipino flag. That's fun. But he's got wins. Jerry's got wins over Volkan Ozdemir, another former UFC title contender, CB Galloway, Fabio Maldonado, King Mo Lal in Risen, right? Brandon Halsey in Risen, Carl Albrechtsen, which that's crazy because if you know about Carl Albrechtsen, that's friend of Josh Barnett. Good God, if you were in the area of like the local fight scene and you saw Josh Barnett, he was either flanked by Carl Albrechtsen or Victor Henry, right? So that's a big win. That's a big win. Now, but again, he's facing the Devastator, Dominic Reyes, which I'm going to put it right out here. Hell, Amy Kaplan, our friend from Fansided MMA, she basically was there at the press conference, I think yesterday, and all the caption was he beat Dominic Reyes. I mean, he beat John Jones. That was it. He beat John Jones. That's all you got to say. This is the guy who beat John Jones. Fortunately, fell to Jan Blachowicz at Fight Island for the title, but by consensus, pick John Jones. Now, I really want your insight because I mean, a large part of Dominic Reyes' early career was fought on a little promotion called U of MMA, the University of MMA, right? And two of these fights, right, where he faces Bruno Casillas and Ozzy Diaz of CMMA, right? You fought on that same card.
Yep.
So give me the skinny on Dominic Reyes, good sir.
Hey, what I remember about Dominic Reyes, he's all business, man. He's all business. Like he's in the dressing room, sitting there just waiting for his turn to go. I mean, if you went and talked to him, he'll talk to you. He's not like a snob or anything like that. He's a straight up, down to earth type human being. He'll make time. He'll definitely make time. But from his physical presence, you understand, you can see clearly that he's only here for business. He will shake your hand and say what's up, if you know what I mean, if the moment warrants it. But he's strictly business, man. He's strictly business. But then after the match is over, then he's all humorous. He's smiling and but prior to that, he's all focused in business. Straight up business. That's what I remember about Dominic Reyes. He's a cool dude. Very, very cool, chill dude. He's about his money. He's about his money and getting that title.
I love it. So, who do you got?
Well, this particular matchup, it's a tough matchup. Both of them are very young, and both of them are killers. Prochaska is the type of dude that he understands the next level of the striking game. He understands not staying put in one spot for a very long time. He understands dynamic movement. He understands that his strikes are dynamic, his kicks are dynamic. You know what I mean? He comes to the game with that flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee type game, like Muhammad Ali, but in mixed martial arts. His grappling is okay. It's okay. It's enough for him to keep the fight where he wants it, and that's on the feet. He is better on the feet, so his grappling defense is only enough, or his grappling, I should say. His grappling is only enough for him to stay standing and keep the fight standing. Most of his matches end in the first round. He's knocking suckers out with his hands. You know what I mean? He's got very good hands, and he brings the heat. His 1-2 is dynamic, beautiful. But fortunately for him, so are Dominic Reyes' hands. He's got dynamic striking too, especially the 1 and 2. So you're gonna see a match of reach. You're gonna see lots of kickboxing. The fight is gonna be a kickboxing match. It's gonna be high paced. Both fighters are gonna move because Prochaska is a mover, which is gonna trigger Dominic Reyes to move as well. Dominic Reyes is a southpaw, so that might be his edge. But I believe Prochaska has the ability to switch his stance and work from both stances. So I don't know how dominant he is in his southpaw stance, but his regular stance is pretty fantastic. So what's gonna happen? It's almost like a 50-50 for me. It's almost like a 50-50. The only edge that Dominic Reyes is bringing to the table here is the fact that he has fought the last 2 champions in that weight class. So when it comes to experience, he has seen the worst, as bad as it's gonna get in the octagon. He has seen it already. And he has been knocked out fairly recently by the current champion. So his mind, he's had a lot of time to sit and reflect and understand what he wants in this game. The fact that he's come back, you know what I mean, tells you that he wants that title. He knows why he's here, and he's here to right the wrongs, the recent wrongs. So I am going with Dominic Reyes, not only because he is skilled enough to win, but he is my brother. You know what I'm saying? He is my U of MMA brother, and I will never pick against Dominic Reyes. So therefore, Dominic Reyes, split decision all day.
Well, same, 100%. For everything that you said, I am in accordance with you. Like again, 1,000%. So Dominic Reyes for the win. I like to see him and Jan Blachowicz, kind of run it back. I think nothing against Jan Blachowicz, especially after he defeated Israel Adesanya, right? But the thing about it is, I think Reyes needed that loss, right? Because it was a definitive loss versus with the John Jones ones, a lot of people still think he won that, right? So he might have been riding a little bit too high, right? And I think it might have, the fact that that title fight, he didn't even take any of his corners. He just took his brothers, right? Or all stud athletes in the high desert area of California, but not the high level coaching that you would think, right? That you would need, a fighter would need for, again, a world championship bout, right? So I think Reyes needed this to kind of get back and center himself up to what's important. And all of that you're going to see tomorrow night in this headline position with Reyes. Because if he doesn't beat Yuri, guess what? He's 0-3 of his last 3 fights. Now, obviously, that's top level contenders, and the champ himself, right? So 2 title fights, 2 title fights that happen. You lose, to John Jones, unanimous decision. Then you beat, and then you lose soundly to Jan Blachowicz, right? And lose your championship opportunity, right? But that's still 3 and out if you lose to Yuri, right? So I know that Dominic Reyes knows that he needs this win. So I think we're going to see the best Dominic Reyes that we ever have seen. Hell, he's in a Toyo Tires commercial. Like, there's a big stock in Dominic Reyes. Yuri's not there, right? So he wants to make good of all of that.
Dominic Reyes, he had a dream. He had a dream of becoming champion with his brothers in his corner. He tried it. It didn't work out. But he's back now. That dream, that idea, if he put it to test, it didn't work out. At least now he can say he tried and it didn't work out. So now he's moving on. So he's coming back, and he's going to be on point. I believe he's back, and he's going to be an exciting fellow once again, the guy that we remember. One thing about that Blachowicz fight was he did not fight the way we are accustomed to see him fight. He was more flat-footed. But the good thing about this particular matchup is for him to be effective against his opponent, Prochaska, he's going to have to move his feet. It's not that he doesn't know how to move his feet. He just forgot to move his feet when he fought Blachowicz. But against Prochaska, we're going to see that movement come back. The movement that we saw when he fought John Jones. That's why John Jones had such a hard time beating him. He was constantly moving. We're going to see that guy again, the guy that moves flawlessly. He's going to glide all over that cage and make things happen. I cannot wait to see this match.
Yeah, so that is it. Reyes for the win, and that is UFC Vegas 25. Now, there's a lot of combat sports, especially coming up this week. We've got Bellators, we've got LFAs, we've got Combate, Bare Knuckle, BKFC is going on right now. There's a whole lot of fights. So get your fucking teeth sent in. And also join us here at Voodoo in the Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the Voodoo in the Woods podcast on YouTube and Facebook. And Voodoo, where can they find you on social media?
Oh, man, you can find me on those main platforms, that YouTube, that Facebook page, that Instagram, and that Twitter all day.
Yes, and I'm Voodoo in the Woods, and you can see me on all of the things he said. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all according to Woods. And go ahead and subscribe to not only this page, but also according to Woods page. I just hit 400 uploads. So, yay. But it's because of you guys. All right, man. Good job. So, follow me on this journey. It's been fucking fun. This is champ shit only. Like, I fucking found it, man. I found it with Voodoo. Found it with all of the 400 some odd people that will choose to share a little bit of their story with me. So it's been fucking fun. So join us there. Join us here. And we will be back sometime before the next UFC with the UFC Vegas 20 post show as only Voodoo in the Woods. And
Oh yeah.
again, folks, buy some UFC, buy some WWE, and buy some Dogecoin, and let's go to the fucking moon and tell Vince McMahon and Dana White to shut it.
Yeah.